All right, everybody, welcome to episode 20.
20!
Wah, 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 wah. Bradley.
It's huge.
Really?
Momentous.
Wow. Quick.
You have the air horn sound.
I'll get it ready. Just kidding. Here we go.
Welcome to episode 20 of the Subscription Podcast. If you're still listening, I'm amazed. Anyway,
This is momentous.
This is momentous. Episode 20 of the Subscription Podcast. I'm Paul Chambers, and I'm super excited to be joined here today by my business partner in the worst subscription.
Yes, Chris Chambers. No relation.
No relation whatsoever. Go ahead, ask us if we're brothers, Bradley.
Are you guys brothers?
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, we're super excited. I'm very excited to have you with me here today.
I'm both honored and a little nervous to be on
don't
this
be
side of the
nervous
camera.
because if Chris George can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, and Louis, you had a great guest last week too. Louis's got a lot of insights, and so I just want to do a good job.
So for anybody who doesn't know that reference, at last year's Cube Awards, you and Bradley and Alex pitched myself, Chris George, and John Haji live. It was in a video live. It played live at the event.
Yeah, we started up our own subscription business called The Worst Subscription.
And if you're curious, check it out. Go to theworstsubscription.com. You can spell it however you like.
We own them all.
Worstsubscription.com.
We own all the domains.
Theworstsubscription.com. You can spell it like it's a hot dog. Worst, W-U-R-S-T. We got them. But check it out.
Show off your shirt.
Watch the videos there.
There you go.
This is the Worst Subscription logo that Bradley made all on his own.
Yes.
So we got a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about today. Let's dive into it here. We're going to talk about the pest industry a little bit. I've learned pest. Yes, the pest industry, not little brother pest, but as in pest. We're going to be.
Who's this man?
Former.
What's going on here?
Chris George making a cameo.
Wait a
himself.
second. The invite said Chris. It didn't say. You didn't
I
say.
thought I
last
deleted
name
you off
was?
the invite.
I'm gonna remember this.
Yeah, and we will remember you.
Will yes. Now
You
we
live on in
we
memory.
play that bit. I will.
Remember you.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the pest industry. We're gonna do a little micro segment that I like to call "Why No Auto Ship."
Why not?
Why no auto ship?
Why?
We're of course gonna talk about some key takeaways. You've been watching a lot of sessions from
Yep.
SubSummit 23. Getting a lot of good insight. We want to share with our audience to talk about some cool stuff there. Play Name That Subscription, a rapid round of that, and all sorts of other fun stuff.
Yeah,
so
I'm
ready to dig
excited.
into it?
Let's dive in.
Hey, let's start off with the news. What's happening in the past 2 weeks in subscription, the world of subscription membership, recurring revenue,
Yes.
and let's dive into that. It's a great place to start. Ready?
The news.
If you're listening to this podcast this week, I'm sorry. It's
You're welcome.
You're gonna expect lots more awesome sound effects. How many years have we been together?
I'd say 38, Paul.
This is me not remembering how old you are.
Yes, and I am 38 years old.
Yes. So we've been together for 38 years as siblings, and we are full of amazing bits. With that, the first thing to note here, Clavio is finally to go. Bradley, how do you pronounce that? Can you give it a quick search?
Look it up real quick.
A lot of people say Clavio.
Yeah. A lot of people do.
Clavio. I used to say Clavio for the longest time. And then John Roman was like, it's Clavio.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
We could ask them at SubSummit too.
Yes, because
personally.
they'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
They're going public. They filed for IPO, and they're going to be taking their company public, which is great. We'll hopefully give them new cash infusion, continue to innovate the product. That'll be a lot of fun to see.
So I kind of know what they do a little bit. Like they're an email and like, are they a CRM? Like,
Yeah, a little bit. They're just more intelligent email marketing. That's kind of their edge. It would integrate in the data. It would do, it looks at ordering frequency. It'll allow you to put people into segments. It'll integrate with SMS. They were just kind of pushing the limits. MailChimp was always like, send emails, this happens. And how did you figure it out, Bradley?
It is Clavio.
Clavio.
Good.
But it just took it a step further. And so they really started to come in and dominate that email marketing market.
So is MailChimp their biggest competitor?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's one of them. There's always new guys popping up, and there's one of those things that's interesting because it's you you'd looked at MailChimp, which was the 800-pound gorilla in the market, and anybody could be like, "Wow, MailChimp controls the market. Why would I start new email marketing software?"
Right.
And I mean, anything's possible. They came along and they just did all the things that they weren't doing well. And now my disdain for MailChimp so much.
I know you do not like them.
Yep, hate's a strong word. Thanks for avoiding it. Makes it even better because MailChimp just keeps raising their prices. It's wild.
I saw that they claim to have more than 130,000 customers as of June 30th. And then I was wondering who their competitors were. So I didn't know if HubSpot was a competitor, but it sounds like they do different things.
Yeah,
but
different things.
Yeah, I just thought, what do you think it is, like going IPO, like going public?
Yep.
You do that so you get more cash and so you can stay competitive.
Cash in is a good way for investors to cash out, for people to make more money. If you've raised money, you're either like, if you've raised and you either need to have an exit to like a private equity firm or merge with another company or take your company public. You can't just like raise a bunch of money and never pay anybody back. So you need to find ways to pay them back. Okay. This is one of those ways, essentially.
Okay.
And it's a new cash infusion for the company, and it's a way to attract employees, all sorts of fun things. So that's
exciting for them.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's out there happening. We wish them the best with that. A headline that I read in a newsletter, App Economy Insights, came out of Apple's most recent quarterly report. They passed $1 billion in paid subscriptions. I got to dive into this a little bit more, but when you look at their total service revenue is around 21 billion. That includes the App Store, Apple Music, Apple Pay, Apple Care, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, Apple Fitness Plus, iCloud Plus. So Tim Cook said on the earnings call that they passed $1 billion in subscription, which is massive. And so, that's good for Apple. It's good, all around in their shift in what they're doing.
It's a very confusing statement to me, though, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's just this article lost me at the headline.
Why? Because
1 billion paid subscriptions. What subscriptions? What do they mean by that?
At first the headline is like 1 billion paid is like 1 billion people are paying for subscriptions, and then you go down and it's there's a dollar sign in front of the one on that. And you dig into a little bit more.
Gotcha.
It's 1 billion of the 21 billion. It seems like of their overall services revenue. Their services revenue is 26% of their total revenue. So,
because I have multiple, like if I have Apple Music, that's one subscription. If I have I'm doing their data storage because I have to.
Your
I was
iCloud
forced
Plus,
into that. Yeah. That's another subscription. Like people could have multiple different.
Yeah. No, or like our family, when we gave the girls their phones, they wanted Apple Music. So then we merged under Apple One now. And so I cover all that there. It's, I pay that bill every month. No problem.
$1 billion in paid subscriptions.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
So then is that annually? Anyway, we got to dive into this more, but
let us know in the comments though, if you figure that out.
I would love to know. I haven't gone that far. Also in the news coming out of The Verge here, AMC is moving some shows that are coming ad-free over to Max. For 60 days, Max's ad-light subscribers, even their ad-light subscribers, will get access to several shows in the AMC Plus demo. I don't, this is an interesting move. It's probably to create some awareness around it and maybe getting some content over there, moving over. Like I heard people complaining, fear of The Walking Dead, but not The Walking Dead.
Right.
I don't get the play. Maybe it's try to attract people to the platform over there.
We have John Geegengak speak at SubSummit. I think he's been there maybe 2 years in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned the first time he was there that the number one driver to streaming subscriptions is exclusive content. And then why they stick around is other reasons beyond that. But I would imagine somebody like AMC, there's so many streaming subscriptions out there that like you it's hard to draw and then keep people there. And so do you think that that's a play of just like getting their content, getting that as a revenue stream?
It could be. And the ad-free thing is that, like, how much of that is keeping people there when you're like, oh, there's not going to be ads for this certain amount of time. Is that exciting? You're going to watch it more. I don't care about ads. Are kind of nice sometimes.
Yes.
Gives me time to go to the scroll on my phone and check a text message or something.
Well, or that now that they have so much data on you that they can tailor the ads to you and you're like, oh, wait, that's a cool product. I might, and you pay attention to it more.
Or your kids start seeing the Burger King jingle endlessly. It's unbelievable to me.
Yes, I know. With Strider, my 3-year-old is not like getting ads very much. I have ad blocker on YouTube. So it's like, I'm not getting that yet.
Have it your way at BK. I posed this question on X and LinkedIn earlier this week about, is sports necessary for the future of a streaming platform? Like, do they have to have an exclusive sports right to do that? George Abraham he used to be with Netflix. He chimed in and he's like, he doesn't see it necessarily as needing to be the case. Because you're talking about content and streaming there. And that's where my brain kind of jumped off to. Right. But, you got to imagine if a company like Apple is going in and buying the MLS, let's say, and they spend whatever bajillion dollars on that bajillion dollars is then not being allocated to other types of content. There's an upper limit on the budget. Mm-hmm. And so, and the same thing says, like, you're going to have an audience that wants MLS versus an audience that wants a TV show. I think what, when you look at this, what sports does is it builds an immediate audience.
Yes.
There's factions out there that watch the NFL, MLS, MLB, NHL, whatever it may be, and they're immediately going to go there versus needing to build them into a series.
Yes. And you already know how popular that sport is, the market that's there for that.
You can count on viewership from it.
Yes.
And so I think sports is
awesome. First and foremost, sports is cool.
Yeah. If
You
you're
love
good
them.
at them, they're better.
Yeah.
You're better. I know a lot of things about sports.
Yes, I know.
This is where you play a flashback of like me
Isn't NFL on Friday?
On Friday nights, yeah. Nope.
Yeah, they were kind to you.
Chris George is like, there's no
roast
football
you,
on Fridays. So it's an interesting play there. In other streaming news.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about that sports streaming. Something I just learned is now Big Ten has games that are exclusively on Peacock, so it continues to go from there.
That's crazy.
So Amazon was the first to make the move. I didn't know how much it would continue. Peacock exclusively. So not NBC. Peacock.
Just some games too, not all of the games.
Not all of the games, just some games. So Michigan's
It's so fragmented.
Yeah. Michigan's. Because Notre Dame's that just played was on NBC.
Okay.
NBC like television channel, and now Michigan's is just on Peacock for their opening game.
And now the Big Ten is so much more, like they keep adding teams every year. Like it's massive.
Well, right, and they started with they did games on their own network and ESPN, but now it's Fox, now it's now it's CBS. So it's like the Big Ten's just on every single channel now.
So this leads me into the next headline from the news this past 2 weeks here is streaming TV costs are now higher than cable.
Oh yeah.
And if you add it up, you're like, but this is where I think, I was talking with a friend last night and she was telling me our Comcast bill got up to $245 a month.
Yeah. If you're getting all the premium channels, like
I don't think she's having a premium.
This article says that the average subscriptions that people have, the typical ones are like, they added up like Netflix, Disney, and another one. And it's like $89 for this. And I don't know of a cable subscription, like maybe the basic cable for $89. And that's what there's a comment in this article that talks about that. Like I never have had cable channels for under $90.
No, and that's the challenge of it is, and you can do the same thing on Hulu, when you add in Hulu and then add in ad free and then how many devices do you want to play it on? It all starts to compound there. But I still think, and so now, the article suggests, this is a 9 to 5 Mac article.
I think that Louis wouldn't like this article. The title's misleading.
Most titles, I guess I've come to the conclusion that if you want the truth, you have to dig in.
Read.
And then you have to actually read. And then you have to go to the sources. Geez, heaven forbid you go to the original sources and see where they're coming from.
Yes.
But it's an interesting point on something we're seeing out there.
It is. It really is.
That's all the news that's fit to print this week that we came across. I'm sure there's lots of other things happening out there.
I was thinking about streaming a lot because we have some snacks that talk about streaming and bundling and everything. And like, I wonder how streaming companies are starting to perceive churn, if it's different for them, because bouncing between these streaming companies is very fluid, because you'll cancel Disney because, okay, I finished The Mandalorian or, the new Marvel movie, and now I want to watch the Ted Lasso last season.
Have you canceled a streaming provider before?
Personally, no. But I only pay for
you,
Disney.
Bradley? Have you canceled a streaming provider before and started it back up?
No.
Okay, so here's my question. Here's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
If you do you, like, you're going to lose your profile and all the things that you've watched in that history.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh my gosh! Because I've thought recently, like, I should just stop Netflix for a bit.
But what if they had? I
Can't you
wonder if
pause
they have
it?
a retention offer to
Yeah.
pause it, or to be like, do you want to at least keep your, you know, if
Right.
you're going to leave us, and that's the thing that they
I'd
talk
pay
about
$3
too.
a month to keep my settings.
Right, and that's the frictionlessness that needs
Yeah.
to happen, because then you're much more likely to come back if you're like,
No,
we've kept
well,
your settings.
Yeah,
You want to make it seamless.
you do want to make it seamless. From their standpoint, it's like, okay, but we're making it easier for people to leave, and it's cutting into their margins and things like that. I think as long as you have some, I think I completely am for the frictionless side, right?
Yeah.
I understand how they're going to look at it and see it, but I think if there is a way in there, there's got to be a way.
I mean, my profile is not that important to me. I wouldn't be devastated if I lost my preferences.
Yeah, I
for
guess
Disney Plus.
like
I'm
is
still
it
going.
really the end of the world now?
No.
And this is what we're going to start to
But
see
Spotify,
happening.
though, I would feel that way about Spotify.
I would not be. Spotify has me. Like,
Yeah.
they got me captured. Like,
Yeah.
I would just not be able to. However, they do keep your data because
It's out there.
you can be on like the free
You
plan.
go back to the
still.
free version, yeah.
and so you don't lose your songs or playlists or anything
Yeah,
like that.
true.
So, you know,
In that
it's not
case.
necessarily like completely clean slate.
So maybe they just make a free version of Netflix where you get a commercial every 30 seconds. You'd be watching something for 30 seconds. It's like,
There's so many commercials in this.
Have it your way. Yeah. There's a report we didn't reference in the news, the subscription box industry outlook.
Mm-hmm. Boom. Just dropped.
Just dropped, fresh off the press. Where's it from again?
It's from EMR.
Very descriptive.
Yes. Yes. Our
That's
research
like,
team dropped this in the channel here. But I don't even know what EMR stands for, so I was hoping that you would.
Yeah. It's Ernst Management Resources.
Or every.
It's like the Wolf of Wall Street. What was his firm's name? What was his firm's
like
name?
Atlas. Or,
No, the Wolf of Wall Street. But
that
anyway,
up,
it was
Brad.
made to sound like bigger and more professional.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do in my next life, is create some like big sounding company. Chambers
it is
Corporation.
Stratton Oak Mount
There you go. Straight
Yeah,
up
yeah,
Mount.
Incorporated.
EMR. Dropping the data. All right. So tell me about this report.
This report has said that there is a growth rate of 18.4% in the subscription box market alone, just that market, subscription
In
boxes,
the last year?
over the years to come.
Oh, that's ahead
And
of
by
us.
2028, the market will be at $74.2 billion.
So does that include subscribe and save, or just subscription boxes?
Subscription boxes. But
Huh.
and they do talk about Amazon in this. They talk about the leading players, but Amazon has a lot of subscription boxes that it offers.
Yep.
They mentioned FabFitFun as being a leader, BarkBox, Blue Apron, Loot Crate was mentioned in there.
Okay.
And get this, Stitch Fix is also mentioned in the subscription.
But Chris, Stitch Fix isn't a subscription.
They mention it in this report. The
Now he's ready with the sound
Yeah, I'm
effects.
sorry. That was just like I really wanted to put that one in there.
And then they go on to talk about how the the American market and the French market are also really big.
Really?
Yeah, and but the one that is poised to grow the most is the Asia Pacific market.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what Asia Pacific countries we shipped to for Gentleman's Box. I don't know if there are many. And I wonder if there's a market coming into the United States here shipping into those markets, or if you have to be in those markets and shipping
Yeah.
into those markets.
Yeah.
But it's some good insight. So that's where they're seeing the most growth is in the Asia Pacific
That's
market.
they see the most potential.
Most potential.
Most potential. Yes, the strongest markets are in the
key
United
insight.
States. Yeah.
Key insight there.
I will drop this in the description though, in the comments.
That's some good data. That's so that's something that can definitely be helpful in planning and looking forward. And I don't think we've seen growth in the subscription box market in quite some time. It's contracted recently over the years,
Right.
especially coming out of COVID. It grew a lot during COVID. It's contracting prior, obviously contracted as people kind of tidied up their budgets and things like that. We're getting out a little bit more post-COVID, but
Yeah, it's interesting because in 2022 it was at 26.9 billion, and it's targeted to reach 74 billion by 2028.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, good insights, good to share. Good to honest to look at it. Speaking of other insights, you had some things that you're looking at from.
Yeah. So Bradley and I have been cutting clips from SubSummit 23 and putting them shareable on social media. And so it's really cool to see kind of
on the internet.
It's on the World Wide Web.
Yep.
Accessible to all, public. And it's cool to see kind of the takeaways again. Like you were there, you experienced it, and this is like the Cliff's Notes from that, which we have for folks that were VIP members for SubSummit.
Yes.
We have the Cliff's Notes available of all the sessions, and we're cutting clips from that. One I mentioned, we talked about John Giegengak. He was there on stage with Evan Shapiro, and these guys are thinking a lot about streaming and the world of streaming, the universe of streaming, and they said half of subscriptions are considered must-haves by people, and they polled like 27,000 people.
Okay, so hang on, let's slow this down for a second.
Yeah.
Half of subscriptions
Are considered must-haves
by the consumer.
that they've
Now,
polled.
they were talking about streaming. Is this in streaming?
This was like all digital, like they talked about like streaming music, they talked about media subscriptions, like they talked
Okay.
about,
So if Bradley has
Spotify.
Spotify and
Spotify,
one other,
New York Times.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spotify, Netflix.
yeah. So you're keeping half of them.
Well,
No.
Must have.
This is
Must have. I mean,
This
Yes.
is
you have to have that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
get this though too, that 93% of those people polled are reconsidering canceling or changing their order of their subscriptions around. So if half of them are must-haves and half of them are not needed, 93% of people are considering letting go of a subscription potentially. So
Is
there's
that
a lot on
letting-
the chopping block.
Letting go of the ones that aren't their must-haves, or
right.
just
So
everything's
that
considered.
50%, 93% of, I know it's kind of stacked. So let's just say pretty much close to that 50% that's non-essential. They are like really considering churn.
Or did they give reasons why in that of what it was for and why they were considering? Like, what's the reason why they're considering? Is it tighter budgets? That's what I would start to wonder. But it's interesting to know, and I think a key takeaway from that is making it so you stay in that top consideration list.
Yes.
Like, what are the
Yes.
things a brand needs to do to be in that upper 50% of like, gosh, I can never let this go.
Well, and we had an answer, and I don't know if you were going to bring this up, Chris, and not necessarily an answer, but a possibility that would would increase retention. And John said how much bundling. Bundling like increases retention. I wish I had the percentage, but it increases retention for a good amount, especially in streaming services where you can bundle pretty well because they have different content.
Yeah.
And he uses the term simplification of making your subscription, like simplify your subscription, how you access it, how you understand it, how if you need to leave it, how you can come back to it. And so it's sort of a synonym, I think, for frictionless is what he's. So the simplification of it, and part of that simplification is the bundling and putting it with other value added subscriptions.
Yeah.
And so that's not happening too much, like, right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some layers of complexity to
For
that,
sure.
that cause that to be the case, but also it's a newer concept. It's a newer thing. Verizon has recently rolled out Plus Play in the last couple of years here, adding more to it. We saw, more and more people kind of becoming a part of that. And so, but you have to have the systems integrating into it and talking to each other. So I think over time, that's a super interesting data point.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. And another clip that we were cutting from was, if you can remember his name, I just have Kinder Beauty written down. The company's Kinder Beauty. And the gentleman that was talking on stage was talking about that their biggest churn point was at renewal. So they identified their biggest churn point was at renewal. And so they thought, okay, well, what can we do to cut down on churn, increase our retention? And so they started making offers to all of their customers, their subscribers, 10 days prior to the renewal. And we've heard like other companies talk about best practices is reaching out 10 days prior to the shipment or the renewal and just seeing if they need it and just having that touch point. But what they do at Kinder Beauty is make them an offer 10 days prior of like that they can't refuse is what he says, like something included that's an extremely large value for free. That if you sign on for the next year, you'll get this large item for free.
Yeah.
And they saw for every month that they're offering this, they saw 60 to 110 subscribers take it. And so if you extrapolate that over the year, that's hundreds upon hundreds of people staying.
It's kind of like a little bit of like a post-purchase, a reverse of the post-purchase upsell, I guess.
Yeah.
I was listening to to Nick Sharma and Moise Ali's Limited Supply podcast this morning in the most recent episode, and they're talking about, Moise was talking about how successful they were with their post-purchase upsell and the take rate on it. And
that's when you're just pumped with dopamine because you just purchased it. You're excited.
You're like, this is great.
Well, that's a great deal too.
And I think they did it with the native, he ran native deodorant, and they did it with like a travel size. So it's like, do you want to add this travel size deodorant?
Yeah, I do.
And it's like, oh yeah. And they had huge success with it. Now, the opposite of that is like reaching them before they renew and giving them that, like, you know, incentive to want to like get more and potentially even spend more. So that could be that's a super interesting way to look at it.
Think about that, what that does to their LTV, like getting that many people to stay on. That's amazing.
Yeah. A Buster Box, Liam Brennan and Buster Box, he does that. But they do that from the initial sign up, where they would give you an offer of like sign up for a year and you'll get this pet security camera as part of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Something like that. I've seen Kong Box in the past. I don't think they do this anymore. At month 6, they would email you and say like, "Hey, we're now including
put a new
this
thing in there."
Yeah,
yes, I loved that they did that.
6th item or 7th item in there.
And I think that's what companies could do, is they could identify what their biggest churn point is and try this offer at that point too, rather than just assuming every month. But it sounds like Kinder Beauty is doing it every single month.
And that speaker was Andrew Bernstein, CEO and co-founder.
Yeah,
just looked that up. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's super fascinating.
I was watching one of our older clips too about the post-purchase upsell, and that this merchant was saying that 30 to 40% of their average order value comes from their post-purchase upsells, like increasing their average order value by 30 or 40%. Yeah. Just by offering something right after purchase.
I think that's often forgotten because you're so focused on like, oh, how to make my subscription great, and I got to get them in the door, and you forget about those little things that you can do. I was thinking about this for a brand that we help with called Custom Stock Shop, and I was like, man, what if, you know, at the end of the order, and it's hard to do that during the order, but at the end of the order, like, hey, do you want to add 10 more pairs of socks for X dollars? And it's, you know, if it's a good price and it's a low add-on, like, yeah, I mean, I'm buying, you know, 250 pairs. What's, you know, 10 more I could use for this or that. That's just an example. Like, I'd have to do the math and figure it out. But something like that, you know, could be huge, wildly beneficial to growing LTV.
For sure. And Sharma would encourage you to find, like, what's the most shippable. Like, you can find those sizes of shippable that's, like, efficient for you to ship too, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. I'll give our audience a sneak preview. Nick Sharma is coming back to SubSummit 2024. Baby. Very excited to have him back.
Very excited.
We've got
also a really good guy.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Super nice, always generous, and a wealth of knowledge. So excited. Hopefully we'll be doing a podcast live there. He and Moise will be doing a limited supply podcast live there. We'll confirm that after the first of the year, but at the very least, he's going to be coming. Bringing some awesome.
You're just stacking up the speakers for SubSummit 24. It's very exciting.
September 25th is our announcement. The week of September 25th, we're going to be sharing our first round of speakers, launching Reg, all sorts of stuff. So be ready for that.
Yeah.
You know who I've been going after, trying to find somebody recently to come and speak at SubSummit? Somebody from the pest industry. Pest. So I saw, I read, my favorite newsletter I read weekly is the Charter, CHARTR newsletter.
Yes, you love that newsletter. Sometimes you forward it to me.
Yeah, I do. And what they were talking about was the growth of the pest industry. Actually, it was a growth of jobs in the pest industry.
That's wild.
So it showed that, let's see here, since the pandemic, the total change of employment in the pest industry growth has been 18%, whereas just the total U.S. non-farm payroll employment has only grown like 2.9%, so 3%. So more and more people work in the pest industry. So then I started to look like, oh, what kind of like recurring revenue programs does like the pest industry have? Of course, Terminix is a brand name that we all know.
Yes.
And they have a program where you can do like a quarterly visit to your house.
Yep.
Which is brilliant. You can do like quarterly pest control or one-time pest control.
Yeah. I got offered a monthly one from a company similar to them at our house.
Like
to maintain the bait stations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go with it?
I was just not certain that it would get the mice out of the house.
This is my beef with the pest industry.
It felt like a gimmick a little bit.
It's a lack of trust.
Yeah, I didn't trust them.
There needs to be.
That's a good way to.
And we had little like scratching sounds above our bedroom recently, and it went on for months before I actually addressed it. And my wife, every
It'll
morning,
go
like,
away. It's just a branch. Babe. It's just a branch, babe.
every morning at like 7 a.m., we'd hear like little like movement, and they'd run back and forth. And
Oh, the pests are waking up above us. It's so
be
cute.
like, it's a good morning. And I popped into the attic. I could never find them. Whatever. I set traps. Could never find them. So these pest guys come out. They're like, "Oh, you have bats and birds and squirrels and mice, and birds are the biggest disease carriers in the world."
You say, "Don't say that around my wife, please."
And the quote for this,
What?
$2,000
For what?
I don't know, to like
that's
board it up, to get rid of it, for remediation because of all the disease from the birds. I'm like, no, not a chance.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of foam filler, and I got some things on Amazon, and I took care of the problem. And I think that's part of the challenge of like, there's, a lack of trust in there a little bit, but I still think it's a space where like pests are problems in houses. And I found this other company called Pestie, Pestie. And this is like a do-it-yourself type thing. You can order it.
Like that lawn care.
Kind of like lawn care. So they have a yearly subscription. So 4 shipments per year.
One?
They have a pay per application. It auto renews 4 times per year, which is somehow different. You're not paying for it all up front is what's different. Or you can do a one-time purchase. So there's some interesting things.
That's an interesting hurdle to get over for these companies is the trust. And I wonder why that's there for. Like, I don't have that. Maybe that. Would you have that same distrust for a lawn company if they're like, well, quarterly, if you pay us this amount, we'll make sure your lawn is green.
No, because I can see that.
I
can see what's happening there, and I can see the tangible results of like my lawn doesn't have weeds all over anymore.
Yeah.
Or the lawn mowing company shows up and they cut it. And so that's where I think maybe somebody needs to integrate data points into it, or more like feedback, like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, your trap caught 200 ants this month, and we're shipping you a baggie of all the dead ants. Would you like that, Bradley?
Would you like us to write,
amazing.
Would you like us to write the eulogy for these ants? Post it on social.
But don't you think, like, Brad, you're a newer homeowner. Do pests concern you?
Not yet, but
now they do.
Or if it happens.
Now
in my house before this, I had that same thing, Paul, with the scratching sounds above.
Yeah.
And it was only at certain times of the day. It was like in the morning, but still, I mean, it was like kind of like, even if it wasn't directly like hurting me, it did kind of like, I kind of squirmed. I'm like, these things squirm. So, if or when it does happen at my house, I would look into it.
Here's where my trust began to waver, was when there was a guy that showed up to our house, and we walked around together, and then he was like, you need these boxes, and then you need to put some poison in them. And then it was when he started to mention how it was like a proprietary poison that they have to refill. You have to have a certain license to be able to put this type of poison in there. And that's great. I think it should be governed. You don't want just people getting poisoned. But like when he started to talk about how he had to replace it, I didn't even have the option to like do it myself. There wasn't like a tier or something for me to.
Got it. How much was it a month?
I think it was around $50 to $80 a month, somewhere.
That's significant.
Yeah. It wasn't like, if it was like $30
like
a month.
3 streaming providers.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's like almost cable.
I lose, and I don't want to go too far off the deep end, but I lose, we talked about that trust. I lose trust obviously when that happens, but whenever they give me a quote or make it seem like I need to do something that's clearly not essential, but it's like super, super expensive. I had a plumber come over for some other thing, and then when he like walked by these pipes, he's like, oh yeah, these pipes aren't up to protocol anymore. You got to replace every single one, or else in 2 years they'll start leaking or something like that. I'm like, no way. Yeah, and it's thousands of dollars. And then like, I just lost I don't have trust in you anymore, because it feels like you're just trying to sell me. So that can be applied in all businesses.
That's the same thing with Mr. Rooter. They're the same way, a bunch of scam artists. Sorry.
Mr. Rooter. What did you do to Paul?
I went to war one time with Mr. Rooter. I have a core memory of driving down 696 in Detroit, like arguing with them about how they're trying to clearly take advantage of me.
And they weren't even on the phone. It was just in your head.
It was literally just in my head. It's like, you guys are. Anyway, it's a long story. Speaking of something else, complete opposite, that I came across the other, I don't know how I got this. It's this brand called ScentWedge. It's a natural air freshener for your Tesla, but it's only for Model 3 and Model.
Well, I'm out.
Yeah, it's only for Model 3 and Model Y, because they have these linear vents in there, and it's this little thing that kind of SubSummit, ScentWedge.com, and it's a wedge in there, and it's like a piece of wood that's scented, so it matches everything. Super cool. But
that's cool. That's applicable to beyond Teslas.
Yeah, if they do it right for the right type of car.
So do they have auto ship?
Look at you knew where I was going with this. You can buy a sample kit of all the scents, or you can get like a discovery set, and they recommend changing this every 2 weeks.
Of course.
So includes 4 of the most popular scents, about a 2-month supply of ScentWedge. So then my question is, as you just asked, why no auto ship?
Why? Why not even a choice?
Yeah,
an option.
At least give me the option. You can have it like add to cart. So
it's not that hard to add an auto ship these days.
No,
right on the back end for a company.
ScentWedge here, built on Shopify. So
yeah,
we'll tag Harley in this post, have them get after them to build, because even in the core base of Shopify now, you can add subscription. And then you partner with like a Recharge or a Bold or an Order Groove or any of those guys.
There's a lot
there.
of other things to think about for companies. Maybe there's a bit of a learning curve.
There's nothing else to think about. This is the most easy thing to do to add in, because all it is just creating another recurring order. And I don't know if like maybe they have a strategy once you order this discovery set. They're like, hey, now do you like, which scent did you like? Now do you want this scent every 2 weeks or whatever?
ScentWedge.
Yeah, ScentWedge.
Why don't you have auto ship?
Why no auto ship?
Why no auto ship?
Bradley, can we get a series of sounds? So like when we say stuff like that going forward, why no auto ship? Bing.
Yeah, well, we'll coin that, and next time we're gonna have
also
a specific thing.
And then for like idea of the pod, that's pest industry opportunity.
Mm-hmm. That should be the ding.
That should be the ding.
Yes.
I have a rent-free in my brain bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what time we're at, and I don't want to be too long-winded here.
Let's do it, and then we'll dive into the name that subscription.
Okay, cool.
What's living rent free?
Living rent free in my brain is a tool club membership. So I need tools. I'm doing home improvement projects, or I'm trimming limbs in my yard. Mm-hmm. But like buying all of these individual tools, sometimes they're specialty tools. Like I needed a wrench for the tub drain because I had to replace some pipes. I'm going to use that once, and then maybe 10 years from now, use that again. Like, what about a membership for tools like this? Could it be like something in my neighborhood? Could it be something as localized as that?
I feel like you're messing with me.
No, I'm not messing with you.
Because my idea that like lives rent free consistently in my brain.
Rent free in our brains.
Yes, it's the what will be someday haveorneed.com. Have or need. These are things that you have.
Yes.
You can list out there, and other people who are looking for them need them.
I need
do anytime.
Yes.
The challenge has been, and I actually kind of came to a conclusion on how to build this the other day. The challenge has always been, you don't want to take the time like I want to take a picture of this light and list it. Now I take a picture of this TV. I want to build the world's largest database of inanimate objects. And so I want you to be able to list everything that you own, and it's your list of stuff that you have. Right. Yeah. And then as a user on the other side, two-sided marketplaces are really tough to build. This is why this is very hard. On the other side, I can browse your inventory of stuff that you made available that I could borrow if I want to. I could rent from you if I want to. I could subscribe to it if I want to, or I could straight up buy it from you.
Yeah.
And then if I borrow it from you and I never return it, then I get charged for your buy price.
Oh, gotcha.
On there. Yeah. Or if I rent it from you and never return it, then I pay your buy price on it. The challenge is, again, like taking pictures and doing everything around there.
See, Facebook should just do this.
No, Facebook shouldn't do it. This is $1 billion idea. This is $1 billion idea. The fastest way through this now is using the latest technology of AI and AR and different things. If you can take your iPhone and just kind of like scan around the room, and it identifies everything, then it'll like list it all for you. And we're finally at the point where this is pretty much possible.
But the reason Craigslist went to the wayside in Facebook Marketplace is...
Craigslist is still very much alive, by the way.
Is it really?
Yes, very much alive. Hasn't changed its design much, but
it's
still
people are using that still?
Yes.
It feels so dangerous compared to Facebook Marketplace.
I have a stigma that it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. Yes. But there's still like a large audience out there. I'm not saying it's not dead.
There's dozens of us.
There's at least 6.
So like, but the anonymity of that is what's a bit freaky. And so like Facebook have,
look at this would definitely connect to Facebook and my vision. And we originally built this site. Gosh, it feels like a decade ago at this point. and we connected to Facebook. So you had to be connected to your Facebook account.
Oh, yeah.
So people could verify
Yeah.
that it was you. And we made it like a
Yeah.
Craigslist type place.
Right.
But like the
Gonna have
vision
to
for this
upgrade it.
and where this started was if you were doing if you had a baby, you'd know like people want to loan you all sorts of stuff. And I always had anxiety. I would never remember who gave me what and who to return it to.
Oh, yeah.
And so the idea behind that was I could be like, hey, you list this in your Haverneed app, and then you can just say that you've loaned it to me.
This crushes the tool membership. Like
It's the
it
exact same
solves
thing.
for the
It's
tool
the
membership.
step of that direction.
And I was wondering if companies would find any value in this, like almost installing like a tool, like vending machine in neighborhoods or something like that. You know, I don't know, but
It'd be like the ice cream man that drives around with tools.
right. Hey, do you need an impact drill? You need some loppers? Those bushers look a little long.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That's gosh, I don't know if that's the best use of time, but
No, but I'm glad that's out. Thank you for letting me get that off.
yeah,
my brain.
listen, someday this is my retirement plan is to
Yeah.
build this app. Or if there's anybody out there who wants to, I own the domain name haverneed.com. Adam Stogdill, and I built it originally, so we'd have to cut him in on the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice.
Or just do this. Like I think it's a great idea. I'd be sad to see somebody else do it because I really want to build this
You'd be
someday.
like that dude in that commercial holding the rollerblades, being like, "I thought of that."
My idea. Whatever. You know, we're busy doing other things over here at SubSummit.
Are you ready to play Name That Subscription? Oh,
Yeah.
this Name That Subscription is brought to you by Have or Need. Haveorneed.com for all of your having and needing issues.
No, last time it was Trip Fire Department. This time it's Hint Water.
that was
try a
the last one, too. I'm
What?
going to give you some hints. So this is exciting
Oh,
for
that's
you.
what we did last time. Yes,
Yeah.
that was.
This is exciting for you because you're playing. You're playing for the points, for Chris George's points.
Yes,
And
we're at a total of 15 points earned so far towards 100 to get the prize.
Yes. And the prize
Oh,
is
you know what we
a
didn't do?
pizza party.
We didn't do the pick the random headshot. We'll do that next time.
Okay. Or even after this and then
Yeah.
just for fun.
Prize,
after we stop
yes.
recording. We just keep talking after we stop recording.
Once we get to Bradley, how much time are we at so far? What are we at?
We are at 42 minutes.
Oh,
That's
gosh,
way
that's
too
a long
long.
podcast.
Yeah, we got to
All
stop
right.
talking. This
We're
is
going to
too
power
long.
through this. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Set one. This company launched in 2012 and released their main product in 2014. And according to a reputable source, their revenue is $1.8 billion. The global market for this product in 2022, this last year, was $11.5 billion, the global market. Works within the licensing space regularly and reports an annual retention rate of more than 90%.
Wow. Retention at 90%?
Yes.
Okay, so 2012 to 2014, we've got a decade on us here. So they started in 2012, launched in 2014. And I'm sorry, the 1.8 billion, that's top line revenue, was that?
That is their revenue. Yeah.
top line revenue.
I don't know what top line means.
Well, this revenue of last year.
Yes.
Okay, and they're an $11 billion market, mainly licensing. This is tough. So like right now, my mind is going towards a physical product. But physical products usually don't have that type of retention unless they're like a subscribe and save type thing. So they're replenishable, something people need quite often.
Oh, gotcha.
So my mind's going down towards a replenishable. But I don't have anything initially. This is
Just
tough for me.
fire from
Licensing
the hip.
space could be like a sports thing.
Yeah.
So I think something with sports there that could be an $11 billion market.
Yeah.
$11 billion market's pretty big. But if they're 1.8 billion of an $11 billion market, they're
a big
a
player.
big player in that. They're a leader.
That's
in
a
that,
good noticing.
in that space.
Yeah. They're a leader. They are a leader.
They are a leader. So, but that's been the last decade. So I don't have anything initially, but this is.
I just need you to shoot from the hip because, you send up a Hail Mary, you could get it. 3,
gosh,
2,
this is ESPN.
1. Nice guess. Incorrect. 20 points down the toilet, off to 10.
Okay.
Okay. They have raised $1.9 billion.
Jeez, oh Pete.
They have over 3,000 employees. In 2018 and 2022, they launched new products. They have partnered with a large retail store to sell some of their products. Some of their employees are encouraged to have a large presence on social media. And as of February 23, they have 6.7 million subscribers. You're not writing anymore, Paul.
No, I stop.
6.7 million subscribers as of February. You want another? I feel like I could just be tipping you over the edge.
One more. No, you're not. I mean, I'm.
Okay, here's two more. They have 2 million songs under license.
Okay.
Okay, and this company really uses the what are known as sunk costs as a retention tactic.
Oh my gosh, this is staring me in the face, but I have no idea. 2018 to 2022 new products, 6.7 million subs. One of the things that's really standing out to me, the employees on social media.
Yeah.
Is interesting. 2 million songs under license.
Interesting.
What
is that?
Is it a karaoke subscription?
2 million songs.
The karaoke of
that
some
a lot?
kind?
Yeah, but you also said that goods are being sold. Would you say like
It's a
different
licensing
retail
space.
stores?
Yeah, there's some products in retail
Stop.
stores.
This
Yeah.
is
And listen to this phrase
What
again.
is this?
They have partnered with a large retail store to sell some of their products.
so like I would start to think Apple. Apple's an obvious guess in this up until like the revenue and the date part, right? Because they're well beyond 1.8 billion in revenue and the total market size. But they do check the boxes in a lot of these other ones.
They do.
in there.
What boxes are they checking for
Well, they
you?
check
What,
the physical products.
Yeah.
Their employees on social is not common at all.
No, that's not a box they're checking.
Total number of subs is low. The songs under license is interesting.
Yeah.
With a raise. Okay, never mind. Apple doesn't check many of these boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Retention 90%, replenishable.
It's hard to be on this side, isn't it?
I'm going to go with
Yes.
Netflix.
Ooh, good guess.
Oh, I'm on the 10 points, so let's go down to the 5-point round here.
Yes, that's right. I'm the one leading this, though, too. So I'll move on to the next round. Little brother here.
Yeah.
The obvious. Okay, so they've gone through 9 rounds of funding. A lot of funding.
Hey.
And they've gone into an IPO.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I went through like a Series J or
I think it's F, I think it was.
Yeah.
And some in between. They operate in the fitness industry, Paul.
Peloton.
They have 3 major revenue sources.
This is for sure. It's Peloton, right?
You have this product, but it's collecting
Dang it!
dust.
That should have been more obvious.
Yeah,
It
the
is
music.
Peloton.
The licensing space. What did you say that pushed me over the edge?
Paul
there?
is correct. The licensing space was meant to be a curveball for you. The first one.
2 million songs under license.
Well, then that was to show you, give you another little curve. The
Employees
licensing
being
space.
social. This all makes sense now, and how much money they burned through,
Yeah.
and then went public.
Yeah.
That's
and they're a leader in the space. They have
Yeah.
physical. So their main revenue sources are the products, the bike, the tread, the
Yeah.
rower now that they launched in 2022, apparel, and the subscriptions. And so you can get the digital subscription without having any of those other things too.
That's good. That's brilliant. All right, let's do one final fun thing as we go out here. By the way, I got 5 points total, 20 points, 100 points to the pizza party. Very excited for it. This is pick a random headshot, and we're gonna say something awesome about this person. I pull out here.
Oh, Brittany
Brittany
Rhodes,
Rhodes.
Black
Love
Girl
it.
Math Chick.
Black Girl Magic. Brittany, fun fact, was at the very first SubSummit in Detroit
Yes.
in 2016.
Yeah, I have edited footage of her asking, who's it, Katya from who was that from Ipsy? Who was there? Katie
Birchbox.
Beauchamp from Birchbox.
Yeah, Katya Bisham.
Yeah.
Bisham.
Yeah, so she was asking a question. Yep.
Yeah. So Brittany has competed in a pitch competition at SubSummit in the past. She did it virtually because she was pregnant at the time.
She literally just gave birth.
Yeah,
before the pitch.
like a
Live
like
from
a
the
week
hospital.
or two out. And this is her red carpet at SubSummit photo with an autograph on it that she signed live at the last SubSummit.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's very exciting. So shout out to Brittany.
Shout out, Brittany.
We're your biggest fan with your subscription box and everything that you're doing. Thanks for continuing to be an awesome part of the community.
Yes, thank you, Brittany.
What a great way to wrap the episode
Yes,
with something
it
really
feels
positive
good.
and exciting.
I love it. Yeah.
I love having you here.
I'm coming back.
Our next time you'll hopefully be down here end of September for something.
Yes.
But this is a great episode number 20. We have one more episode to go to be in the 10% that make it past 20 episodes. So hang in there, stay tuned with us.
Yep.
If you liked it, say subscribe, comment. If you find this, I'm trying to post these on X, FKA, Twitter from time to time as well. Get it out there. And then always open to feedback. And then the best thing you can do if you really enjoyed it and you got this far into it, share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Super appreciated. Find
Appreciate
somebody you
you.
know, text it out to them. And that is today's episode. We'll
right.
see you on the next one.